welcome back to the channel. Today is my 10th anniversary with this guy.
Yay.
Okay, so we decided, we, meaning me, because he loves doing these vlogs so much, don't you?
I love them.
A lot.
They're great.
A lot. Weren't you looking forward to this?
I was.
He was.
I said, when is the vlog? I can't wait to be there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was talking about it all night. So this is our 10-year anniversary. And he's so... What?
Nothing.
And he's so fortunate to have been married to me for this long. Aren't you?
I am.
Good. See? He knows. So what I thought I would do is I thought I would ask him a couple questions. For a lot of my clients and friends, male and female, always seem to have a little issue of like what they would expect from their mate to make it last. So you can kind of see how your relationship can be as spectacular, dazzle please, spectacular, as ours. So there's a couple things, and I see this a lot with my clients, and they don't seem to have an identity without each other. I would say we have a pretty good balance of that, don't we? Don't you think so? Seriously?
I would say so.
Yeah. So maybe you could give a little insight to the males or females that seem to have a problem, not problem, but a difficulty letting their mate have a life outside of them. What would be your advice to that?
Well, keep your life. The life that you had before you met. I mean, of course you don't go out. If you go out with your friends and you do things with your friends, you may not do it as often, but don't stop it. One of the problems that people, in my opinion, have is they say, oh, we're together and we're going to do everything together, and they have these expectations of they're going to do everything together and they'll be inseparable, and then they drop all their friends and all the things that they once done. And then when you start doing that, now it may work for some couples, but I think a lot of couples, when you start doing that, you kind of get sick of each other, I think.
Well, a good example of that is, and I do offer him to come, but Ellen, you guys have met Ellen. Ellen and I and our friend Mike, we like to go to the Renaissance Fair. Paul loves the Renaissance Fair, don't you?
I have nothing against it. I just have no desire to go.
Right. But if I said to you, hey, go to the Renaissance Fair, I want you to come, you'd be like, no, I'm good, right?
Well, yeah, and it's also not me saying you can't go to the Renaissance Fair because I'm not going to the Renaissance Fair. I think people, and I can, of course, me being a man, I can speak on the side of men. Men, this is what I've discussed with Lori and even friends of mine who are women who asked my opinion. How do men think in, what, as far as relationships? Guys tend to like to do things with their friends. I think women tend to talk more to their friends. Guys like to hang out with their friends. So it's one of those things that guys are like, hey, let's get together and watch the game. Go somewhere and watch the game or something like that. And women still do things together.
Sure, let's go to the wine. Let's go get some wine.
Go out to dinner and things like that. Well, guys still like to do things, whether they're playing sports, golf, or even if they're not into sports, whatever hobbies they may have. They like to do things together. Don't cut that out, because I know a lot of times people go, well, why do you need to go there? Why do you need to go hang with the guys? You're going to go and get in trouble. No, guys just like to do things together. So it's keeping your identity. What
advice would you give for people who, because I see this a lot, where they have the insecurities like, well, this person isn't spending enough time with me. It goes back to the time. You know how some marriages are either, predominantly most marriages will break up either after trust, money, or just insecurities overall. So from the insecurity perspective, if somebody's like, well, you're always doing this, you're not spending enough time with me, what advice would you give to that? Male or female, really? I
mean, it's hard. It depends on the person. It's hard to, because sometimes it's rooted in something beyond just
that relationship.
Sometimes it's whatever abandonment issues or something that they may have. So that may be beyond.
But I think it's for people taking it personal. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because I think a lot of people need to change their expectations of what a relationship really is, what a relationship really entails. I think there's this fantasy that you have a relationship and again, you do everything together and everything we're gonna do together, and it shouldn't be that. I don't think it should be that way, because again, when people start to lose their identity, and I know from a male's perspective, men love to hang on to their identity. There have been women who said, man, he's too clingy. Every time I turn around, he's right there and he needs to get a life, that type of thing. Still got to have those times where you can, you know, go out of town, or even if it's not going out of town.
Just doing something.
Just doing
well,
something.
But I'll give you an example of that. So a lot of times when I do my events and my parties, whether they're local or away, him and I sort of have different schedules. So I go all day here, he's out at work, then I come back, and if I go out for a reading party, he's still here. So a lot of times when I get home, he's sleeping. So I do personally get the question of, and I always say, well, it just works, but I'm not speaking for you because now you have an opportunity to do that. But because my lifestyle is a little different than the average, okay? I'm not home at 5 o'clock, I'm not getting dinner straight on the table. I do get the question of, well, how does your husband handle you being really not around a lot? How do you handle that? It's good because other people might be in the same situation.
Oh, I mean, you know me, I've always been kind of an independent person anyway.
If I was doing a reading party at Channing Tatum's house, would you have a reason to worry?
Would I worry? No, I wouldn't worry.
He's like, no, I wouldn't care.
I mean, I really, I really would. I know you, we joke about the whole Channing Tatum thing, but you know.
And The Rock.
Yeah. Now, Channing Tatum and The Rock were there, no.
And Jason Momoa.
Worry. Well, now the list is just getting longer, and
Paul Walker, but that's going to be like never happening because he's crossed over now.
Well, if anyone could talk to him,
it'd be me. I could leave you for Paul Walker. That'd be boring.
But anyway.
But I don't know. I think that friendship plays a big part of it, don't you think? Because I see a lot of people too who their expectation is, okay, my husband's my very best friend, which is good to a point, but you still need your friendship outside of that. Wouldn't you say that?
Yeah.
Because I think that you can be super in love with your mate and get along really well with them. I can't fulfill for him like, hey, you know, my friend's coming into town. We're just going to sit around and kind of like shoot the crap. Now, he's been here when I have a core group of girls that I hang out with. And, you know, he's been here for that. And I mean, he fits right in. But then he's like, I'm good. Like, I'm going to go upstairs or I'm going to go out and do something.
I always feel like people should be able to have their lives. I think in a lot of ways is just change your expectations of what relationships in general are supposed to be. Everything's not going to be roses.
I'm not sure.
You're not going to, you know, of course, and have a good ransom note that you can, she's treating me fine. It has been 10 years of marital bliss.
That's not ransom note. That's a transcript. That's a script.
Yeah, well.
But yours came so naturally.
But,
you know, a lot of times people will say to me, you're really lucky to have Paul because Paul lets you go do your stuff. I guess I don't really get that concept, but I've had a lot of people, some of my friends, who have said, well, in my marriage, you know, I couldn't go do this, or if I was gone more than a couple hours, he would be like, well, where are you? What are you doing? Do you think that that's insecurity? What is she doing?
What's happening? He's behind there and he's poking his paw. Look.
Oh, the cats are playing with each other. Guys, and I say guys because I have a lot of girlfriends, or good girlfriends, and I think a lot of guys would have a problem if you went out with your girls or did stuff like that. So I guess you're just kind of a...
Well, here's one of the things I think is one of the problems. I have these princess stories.
Oh yeah, like Snow White and all that stuff.
You have a lot of the rom-coms.
Why did it get darker?
Where?
What'd you do?
You move the camera angle.
I think that's good. That's better.
So now, and then you have these rom-coms when I think in a lot of ways, and I think it's, and I mean, and it may be changing, but I know traditionally when we were growing up, you know, I think that women and little girls were given an unrealistic expectation of weddings, relationships, and everything, and I think it really hurts a lot because when your expectations become, I'm gonna have this dream wedding where I'm a princess, and then you find out how much that costs. You know, rom-coms is, I changed him. He used to be this way, and now he's this way. Don't try to change anyone. I mean, really, don't try to change. Don't make your expectations of, I can't live with this, and I'm gonna change it. No, don't try it. It's not gonna work. I told friends of mine guy friend, you know, he asked me relationship question, and I said, first of all, and this is an expectation I think a lot of young people get wrong, maybe older people too. You're gonna get on each other's nerves. There are gonna be things about
lot.
about
Like
your partner.
A lot. Oh, go ahead. I was agreeing. I was agreeing with him.
You know, when you point one finger, how does that go? You point
one finger,
you have
3-point back to you, something like that. I don't know.
Wow, we sounded really old then because we just jacked that all up. But anyway, there are gonna be things that are gonna get on that you're not gonna like about your significant other. That are gonna get on your nerves. Because if you think about your best friends, there are things about your best friends you don't like very much about your best friends. There are things about yourself that there are times you like, I can't stand this about me. Like, why am I doing this? This is stupid. Why do I have so everything is not gonna be perfect. You know, what it really comes down to are those things that you don't like about him something that you can live with.
Right.
You know, is this really something that you say, I don't think I could live with this on a daily basis? If it's something you can't live with, then it's not going to work.
Right.
Because it's going to become
and stop trying to make it work. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Is you see people 10 years into it and they're like, I keep trying.
And that's
I
the
keep
thing.
being miserable. I keep trying.
Don't try to fix people. You know, just if that's their flaw and you go, I can deal with that flaw.
Deal with it or not.
Let it be that flaw. They may work through it themselves. You know, it may be lessen once you.
The cat is crazy.
It may lessen a little bit. You know, you may have some sort of influence. You know, you couldn't influence someone maybe to where some of those things that kind of got on your nerves, they either stop it altogether on their own or at least it lessens, you know, a little. So let them know that's just one of those flaws and sometimes it can be one of those lovable flaws where you go,
like,
they do so and so, there they go again, but just kind of, well, that's them.
God, you must think that about me a lot.
But when I walk into a room and you're dancing and talking to yourself,
okay, defense.
That's a little.
Hold on, I was cleaning. I was vacuuming.
I vacuumed and cleaned. I can vacuum and clean all the time. I'm not dancing around talking to myself.
I wasn't talking to myself. I was talking to the couch. I was talking to the couch.
Not, who are you, Pee-wee from Pee-wee's Playhouse?
Yeah,
talking furniture now?
We have a sectional, and there were different pillows.
Couchy.
And the way...
You're talking to Couchy. We live in Pee-wee's Playhouse right now.
And the way that the cushions were, I couldn't figure it out at first. And so I asked the couch to help me. He was upstairs. Asked the couch to help me, and it didn't help me. It didn't help me. I figured it out on myself.
Really? It didn't?
No, I figured it out on my own. So I was apparently...
Hey, Lori, you should put that over here. That didn't happen?
Apparently he came downstairs and I didn't know he was there. I don't even know how long he was there. But I know
long enough.
I was proud of myself.
Maybe way too long.
I was proud of myself for figuring it out without the couch's help. Way too long. Wasn't I proud of myself?
Way too long.
And then I sometimes have a constant soundtrack in my head. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yes, it kind of goes. But
I was dancing because I was cleaning. So, yeah, you do. I've heard you talk to yourself. You don't talk to the couch, but I have heard you talk to yourself.
You've heard me think out loud.
Isn't that the same thing?
Nah, I wasn't talking to furniture.
It was important. I couldn't figure it out. I got it under control.
Well, she was talking about how smart she is.
I was talking about how smart I was to the couch for figuring it out without the couch's help. He was here on that. And then apparently he came downstairs and I happened to be dancing. Oh, and trust is a big factor. Let's talk about trust.
I figured out a lot of things without help from the furniture. Maybe the appliances have given me a couple pointers, but...
Well, trust. Let's talk about trust because this is an issue I have with him. Oh, he doesn't trust me with food or with his stuff. Or if I just walk up to be lovable and give him a hug, he cowers in the corner. Would you like to tell them why? You're a jerk?
What is this? H-E-L-P?
Well, no. Tell him. He's crazy. He says everybody doesn't trust me.
The one who doesn't talk to furniture is crazy. Okay. That's right. He's delusional. All talking to people and things.
I talk to people. Some you can't see. Anyway, I'll go up to give him a hug.
You just saw that, right?
Yeah,
But I'm
yes.
crazy. You saw the shoulder.
Yeah, that's my sexy shoulder. That's my, hey, big guy, come on over. Isn't that sexy? Look, everybody in YouTube land's like, oh my God, I must have her now. Look at that.
Please send the money right now.
But I still want to go back to the fact that he doesn't trust me when I go to hug him. I try to go to hug him and he's like,
No one trusts you.
see, isn't that crappy?
Sienna jumps.
Sienna's crazy.
Neighbors, kid, Ellen's son didn't
Ellen's
trust
son,
you.
Josh,
You walked past
nuts.
Josh and he jumped because he thought you were gonna tickle him or do something.
Josh likes to be tickled. First of
You
all.
think everyone likes to be
You
tickled?
like to
I
be
hate to be
I'm not
tickled.
ticklish.
I hate to be
like at
tickled.
all.
Because
there's
you're
no
dead
ticklish.
inside. She's
no,
dead
I'm not
inside.
ticklish. Okay, because my sister used to tie me
She's
down
dead
and tickle me,
inside.
so I talked myself out of it.
The joy of childhood has been stripped out of her, and she's just next on Furniture Talk. The Lord.
So let's wrap this up. And I am happy to have been married to this jerk for 10 years. This guy for 10 years. We've known each other for 12. He is one of my best friends, but I think we can manage another, 10, maybe 20 more. Oh, and
I have a few hairs that are not gray, so I guess I can.
Don't let him fool you. These are glands of glands.
They're glands. They're love.
strands?
We call them love follicles.
We call them strands of glitter because he has me as his wife, and it's just like, look, it's just like glitter. It's all but shoots out of his head.
You know, Glitter was a horrible movie. That was
But
a horrible movie.
I'm
so I don't know
not.
if
I'm
you
not
know.
Mariah Carey.
Well, we
First
know
of
that.
all.
I've heard you try to sing, so we know that.
Well, okay. I'm a little Whitney. Not. Okay.
Whitney
that's
who?
Houston.
What now? Probably Whitney Houston now. You have the...
Well, you guys, seriously, don't take yourself serious. That's another really good one because we definitely don't. Please like my videos, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell in the corner for notification. I'll try to wrangle him in for another one, maybe around the holidays. See you next time.